Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this week's recap of the news as has been presented on this channel over the course of the week. We do this every Sunday. We curate the videos that has been presented on the channel, and we pick out 5 videos that captures the week for your weekend listening. So we get straight into it, and we kick off with the fallout of the Endsars protest. So the first video speaks to exactly that. The accounts are allegedly, apparently, of the lead people of the Endsars protest are being frozen. So the reasons why this has been done is all explained in this first video. So enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, we're dealing with the aftermath of the Endsars protest. The nail that sticks out will be hammered down, and the repercussions of the Endsars protest is now coming like an avalanche on top of the people that participated. Guys, I bring you this. Federal government allegedly freezes accounts of Endsars promoters. So now they are going to the top, and they're going to cascade all the way down. We've already started to see some form of repression on the streets, but they are now going for the top echelons of that movement. Again, the headline: federal government allegedly freezes accounts of #Endsars protesters. So now let's now see what this latest development is. The federal government has been accused of freezing the bank accounts of Nigerians who promoted the #Endsars protest. Nigerians took to the streets on October the 8th to demand an end to the Special Anti-Robbery Squad unit of the Nigerian Police Force and an end to police brutality. The protest took a different turn when it was hijacked by hoodlums. On October the 20th, security operatives stormed the Lekki Toll Gate Plaza and allegedly opened fire on the protesters. 2 weeks after the protest, there are allegations that the federal government has begun a clampdown on the persons who promoted the protest via any means. According to a report obtained, some #Endsars promoters alleged that their banks informed them that the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) directed that their accounts be frozen. The Apex Bank reportedly instructed banks to place a post-no deposit restrictions on their accounts. Nigerian pharmacist Basi Israel, who was in charge of the #Endsars medical team in Port Harcourt, reported that his bank account with Access Bank marked 00, and then it goes on to give the account details, has been frozen since October the 15th. I am in charge of the Endsars medical team in Port Harcourt, and we had people donating for medical supplies, food, water, ambulance services, and these donations were made directly into my account, and of course these donations had Endsars descriptions, so I think that was how they were able to flag my account. I noticed that on October the 15th, I was trying to make a debit transaction on my account and noticed that there was a restriction. So I called the bank, and I was told that there was indeed a restriction, but I should go to any branch near me. And when I did so, the branch manager sent a mail to the branch where I opened the account. The response to the mail was that there was a directive from the central bank to restrict the account. The lady was surprised and even asked me if I had any issues with the CBN, and I responded that if I had any issues with the CBN, I wouldn't be in the bank in the first place. I would be on the run. I asked what could be done, and she gave no answer. She had to show me the mail on her computer, which I read. It was directly from the CBN, and it read, "Place this account on PND." He was quoted as saying, when asked if others had similar problems, Israel said, "I know many persons that have the same challenge." Another #Endsars protester who spoke on the condition of anonymity also alleged that she had not been able to access her account and had been informed that it was frozen. The CBN is yet to confirm or deny this allegation. On Sunday, Modupe Odele, an Endsars advocate, narrated how she was stopped from traveling out of the country by officers of the Nigerian Immigration Service NIS. The lawyer said she was detained and her passport was seized. The Ministry of Interior, however, denied the allegation that it is compiling the names of #Endsars protesters on a no-fly list. So the backlash, as I said, will come thick and fast, and it's coming a lot faster than I had anticipated, because the dust, of course, has not even settled yet on this protest, and already they are picking them up one by one. So the weight of the state is what you're seeing now, and the power and the might of authority is what is now being vested. The Nigerian constitution, of course, says that you have the right to protest, but then, of course, you protest within the Nigerian space at your own peril, and you protest especially under this administration at your own peril, because of course this is an administration that brooks no criticism. So this is now what is going on. First, they detained a lady at the airport. Now they're freezing their bank accounts, and very soon they'll be picking them up one by one. Don't be surprised if people start to disappear, because of course that is the climate that we're living under. So now this Endsars protest now is a seminal moment within the Nigerian space, because the citizenry have now spoken, and the response of the authorities is status quo. Is that you can protest all you like, but nothing will change within this space, because exactly what the people are protesting against, the heavy weight of the authoritarian system of this regime especially, but then cascading through every other regime that Nigeria has ever had, but more so now than ever before. The authoritarian approach is becoming too heavy a weight for the Nigerian person to carry, because if you are in your house, you can't sleep at night for fear of armed robbers, and if you go on the street, you can't walk freely for fear of the police. Damned if you do and damned if you don't, and it's like playing Russian roulette with your life within the Nigerian space. Countless stories, really, this Endsars narrative, the experiences people have had, is either, hopefully you've not had an experience, an encounter with these elements personally, but if you haven't, then you must have heard of somebody or heard somebody that has had that experience directly. Countless and countless stories, and a lot of them are coming out in this panel now that is being put together by Lagos State, just to share brutality and dehumanization that is going on within the Nigerian space. It beggars belief. It's almost unbelievable, some of the narratives that you hear. There was an instance, some chap, he lives in America, not been home. This is just a story that a lot of you would have, not this particular story, but similar to stories that a lot of you would have heard. A chap, he lived in America for countless years, decides to go back to Nigeria on a visit, or trying to make his way back home. You know, after a while you start having that calling from home, not a physical call, but your heart. So as he was going about his business, he was in an Uber. SARS, of course, they stopped that Uber, forced him down and sent the Uber driver away. And as they were interrogating him, and he was trying to, you know, so I could get information on what exactly is going on, suddenly this guy was being beaten up. This guy was recounting that he's a man in his 40s, and he has not had a slap or a physical confrontation with anybody for a good 20-25 years. So the first physical assault that this guy has had, to his recent or even distant memory, is an encounter with a supposed Nigerian police officer, and the encounter has led to this guy being slapped. For reasons for that slap, though, remains a mystery to that guy. So that guy just tried to extricate himself from that situation that he found himself with minimal damage, and then just packed his bag and made his way back to America. So he'll be contending with the American policing system, where there is still at least some sort of like a justice system that underpins it, rather than playing Russian roulette with his life on the Nigerian street. So that's just one example. Countless examples. There was some narration that I was hearing on one of these programs. It's actually posted on my YouTube. Some hand across the Delta. Some chap was accounting. I think it was Idris. Abdul Karim or something, some singer. He was saying some chap that he knows came back from the same America after however long. He was stopped by this set of police officers, the usual suspects, and then of course they found dollars on him. They arrested him, and that guy has never been seen since. So this just countless and countless and countless stories. We saw the army, of course, no better in Ibadan just a couple of days ago, accusing a girl of being indecently dressed, and then proceeded to take off his belt and dish out a summary punishment. So this is it's just a brutish system. It's a wild, it's like an animal kingdom, really, the way that space functions. So of course that weight is too heavy for people, and they had to lash out in some form at some point. And that lashing out then was that relatively peaceful protest that the Nigerian youth were having a couple of weeks ago, saying, please sir, stop killing us, sir. And for that please sir, stop killing us, sir, they are now being rounded up one by one. The leaders are being put on a no-flight list, and their accounts being frozen, and the ones that are the foot soldiers are getting a kick-in from the army. Conversations in the comment section, the nail that sticks out will be hammered down. That is the Nigerian system, and it will never change. But how that change comes, because change must come, is not a sustainable system, by the way. The system that these people run, just killing and looting and killing and looting, and that's been going on for 60 years. So that cannot continue, because the world around Nigeria is evolving. So if you ignore the northern parts, there are places like Chad, etc., because of course this is the culture that these people imbibe. But if you look to the southern regions, if you look at places like Togo, Benin Republic, Ghana, Cameroon, these countries are developing at an alarming rate. These countries, they are on the cusp of coming out of being a third world country. If you are driving, for instance, from Nigeria to Benin Republic, you will drive on a roller coaster type road on the Nigerian end with divots everywhere, potholes everywhere. You will even swim on the road, because the road will be flooded because of the bad roads or the unbuilt roads, where they will charge like 10 times what it takes to build that road, but only use maybe 5% to actually, they just paint tarmac on the space and walk away with the money, and within 2-3 months that road is worse than it was. They not even done anything. So this was the sort of roads that you had in Nigeria. And as soon as you hit the Benin border, the border between Nigeria and Benin Republic, the roads there that you then hit are just like carpets. It's just a smooth ride. So this is a country that doesn't even have anything that purports to be an economy. Even the economy, I won't even compare it to Lagos State anyway, because it's too big. So even the economy of an average state, let's just say Imo State or something, or maybe Osun State, is probably bigger than the economy of Benin Republic, but their lifestyle is 10 times better than the lifestyle in Nigeria. And these people are accelerating while we continue to regress. And the regression, of course, is being manifested now in this no-fly list now that Buhari has composed of the promoters of Endsars, and this freezing of accounts that is now the offshore of that protestation. Conversations in the comment section. TikTok, the nail that sticks out will be hammered down. That is the Nigerian way. What says you? Come share thoughts. But before you come share those thoughts, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all the clickings, the nail that sticks out will be hammered down. What other metaphor do you have that describes the Nigerian situation? So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace. Hope you enjoyed that. So still sticking with the Endsars theme, in this next video we go to Malam Buhari. In this video, Malam Buhari tries to align himself with the Endsars protest, and he tries to line himself up with the sentiments being expressed by the youths on the streets. Confusing, yes it is, but it is all detailed in this next video, so enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, if you're a Nigerian resident in America, then I will urge you to vote for Donald Trump, because if Joe Biden enters that White House, then that will mark the end for Nigeria, especially the southern regions, because the Democrats, they don't really care for Nigeria. They pay lip service to Africa and black people, but they don't really care for Nigeria or the black race in general. You'll recall when Barack Obama, who himself purports to be a black man, when he was president of the United States, he came to Africa several times. He never came to Nigeria. He went completely against the Goodluck Jonathan regime, refusing not only to sell them the weapons that they needed to fight the Boko Haram insurgents, he also put pressure on other nations not to sell those weapons to the Jonathan regime. He did this, of course, to foist Buhari on Nigeria, because whether you know it or not, Barack Obama, there's more to Barack Obama anyway than meets the eye, and Joe Biden is always going to be a continuation of Barack Obama, especially a man that is already showing the early stages of dementia. So it will be Joe Biden's face and Barack Obama's voice. So this is really what is going to happen. So all that build up is to land on this headline: Buhari to Nigerian youths, I am against attacks on peaceful protesters by security agencies. So this is Buhari now paying lip service to what happened at Lekki, because the pressure is mounting not just within the Nigerian space. If it was just the pressure from the Nigerian space, he would have just quelled that with the same security services that is now trying to criticize in a vague way. But the pressure really that is really mounting on him is international, and that international pressure comes from the body language of the Trump regime, especially, which is completely against Buhari anyway. You recall when Buhari went to America, I can't recall, 2-3 years ago, Donald Trump called this man into his office and asked him why he was waging a war against the Christians in Nigeria. So Donald Trump is an anti-Buhari man, and you remember that he also said that Buhari was dead from the neck up. So an anti-Buhari man Donald Trump is, in spite of all of his vices, that one quality is sufficient enough, if I had a vote, to cast it in his favor. Again, the headline: Buhari to Nigerian youths, I am against attacks on peaceful protesters by security agencies. So now let's now see how the Malami explains this. President Muhammadu Buhari said on Sunday that he is opposed to attacks on peaceful protesters by security officials. He, however, did not outrightly condemn such attacks as recently witnessed across the country. The president's statement comes about 2 weeks after a national broadcast where he remained defiant, refusing to condemn the attacks and shooting of unarmed #Endsars protesters by security operatives. Security operatives last month used force, including live ammunition, to disperse unarmed protesters in many Nigerian cities such as Lagos, Abuja, Oyo, and Delta. The protesters were demanding an end to police brutality and the dissolution of a notorious police unit, SARS. Arguably, the worst of such incidents was the shooting of unarmed protesters at Lekki Toll Gate by soldiers, during which at least 2 people were killed and many others sustained gun wounds. The Lekki shooting is currently being investigated by a judicial panel set up by the Lagos state government. Mr. Buhari's latest stance was contained in a statement by spokesperson Garba Shehu. According to Mr. Shehu, the president spoke Sunday in Abuja in his message to the maiden National Youth Day celebration observed on November the 1st. Mr. Shehu said the president was represented at the event by Abuja Minister Mohammed Bello. No one who is obeying the law, whether they are in line waiting for a taxi or in a peaceful protest line, should be harassed or brutalized by law enforcement agencies. It is because of my abiding belief in the people's constitutional rights that we moved with dispatch to abolish SARS and to consider other reforms that will enhance the quality of law enforcement and improve the relationship between the police and the public, which is a prerequisite in a just society. To allow protest is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength and belief in democracy and faith in the innate goodness of our people, the president was quoted as saying. So here is now the full statement by Garba Shehu. So Garba Shehu's statement in full, statement of course on behalf of Malam Buhari. So State House press release is what is the headline, and the heading of the piece is President Buhari to Nigerian youths, end street protest, dialogue with government on police reforms. So now let's now see what the full gist of it is. President Muhammadu Buhari Sunday in Abuja appealed to Nigerian youths to end street protest and participate in meaningful discussions with government aimed at comprehensive reforms to end all forms of police brutality against Nigerians. The president spoke in his message to the maiden National Youth Day celebration observed on November the 1st, coinciding with the African Youth Day celebration, against the backdrop of the recent protest against police brutality in the country, leading to the disbandment of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. President Buhari, who was represented by the FCT Minister Mohammed Bello, told the gathering that the pleas of Nigerian youths have been heard by his administration. He added that the federal government now wants to hear concrete and practical ideas from the youths, whilst acknowledging their constitutional rights to peaceful protest. You must realize that protests cannot last indefinitely. My government will not lift a hand to stop or suppress you. However, the fact of the matter is that other forces and actors will seek to take over your protest, that they may redirect them in ways that you did not intend or perhaps do not agree with. Every successful peaceful protest the world over has understood that there comes a time when activity must move from the streets to the negotiation table. That time for you has come. Do not be afraid of this reality. You should welcome it. It is important that we all strive to use this moment constructively. Too many people have already sacrificed too dearly. It is our duty to use this fateful situation to move ourselves to a more just and caring society. As youths, you have a nation and a future to build. My government will always be your faithful partner in this essential and patriotic endeavor, he said. President Buhari also used the occasion to express his strong opposition to the wrongful use and imposition of violent force against any innocent law-abiding persons, particularly young people. No one who is obeying the law, whether they are in line waiting for a taxi or in a peaceful protest, should be harassed or brutalized by law enforcement agencies. It is because of my abiding belief in the people's constitutional right that we have moved with dispatch to abolish SARS and consider other reforms that will enhance the quality of law enforcement and improve the relationship between the police and the public, which is a prerequisite of a just society. To allow protest is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength and belief in democracy and faith in the innate goodness of our people. This also shows confidence in the ability of our government to work with the people towards a reasonable and practical resolution to any challenge, he said. Describing Nigerian youths as agents of change, economic growth, and sustainable development, President Buhari said his administration has established no fewer than 25 initiatives aimed at empowering youths across the country. He noted that these noble initiatives, ongoing in the last 5 years, were aimed at placing Nigerian youths on the path of career development, entrepreneurship, skills development, and direct employment. Today, we will unveil the official logo of the 75 billion Nigerian Youth Investment Fund for the period of 2020 to 2023. This novel fund is dedicated to investing in the innovative ideas, skills, and talents of Nigerian youths and to provide our youths with a special window to access much needed financing, business management skills, and other inputs critical for sustainable enterprise. He said the president announced that over 1 million applications have already been received since the Youth Investment Fund portal went live on October the 12th, 2020. He listed other youth-based initiatives consistent with his administration's policy of positioning youths for strategic leadership in different fields of endeavors as follows: the birth of the Nigerian Youth Policy in 2019, the Nigerian Youth Initiative Fund in July 2020, Young Farmers Initiative, Digital Skills, Entrepreneurship, Employment and Leadership Mentor Program, which recently received an approval of 4 billion naira for implementation, and the Not Too Young to Run Act. Other initiatives, according to the president, include the Presidential Youth Empowerment Scheme, PYES, the Empower, the SI and Disaster Management, the Youth Entrepreneurship Support Program, Graduate Internship Scheme, and the Youth Enterprise with Innovation in Nigeria. The president also added the 20 million Technology Fund for Young Innovators as some of the major initiatives empowering youths across the country. Restating his call for national unity, President Buhari said Nigerian youths are better positioned to drive indivisibility of Nigeria and collectively overcome whatever challenges bedeviling the country. On this special occasion, we affirm our faith and confidence in the indivisible entity called Nigeria and its future. We face many challenges, but in you, this nation has the collective ability and drive to overcome that which confronts us, he said. At the event with the theme, Invest in the Youth, Secure Our Future, the winners of the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development organized 60-day app challenge and youth innovators were recognized and received cash rewards. So long-winded and roundabout the bushes, of course, but this is toning down now of rhetorics. It really is. Because, of course, Malam Buhari's first opening salvo when he was eventually forced in front of the cameras when the country had been burning for a good 10 days was to make that 12 minutes or so speech, 11 plus minutes, just boasting and bragging and threatening that, look, if you people don't calm down, I will weigh down on you. And then shortly after he said that, we all saw what happened in Lekki, etc. But then that thing that happened in Lekki is being reported on CNN, is being reported on DW, which is the Russian global network, television network, is being reported on Al Jazeera, is being reported on BBC, is being reported on French international TV. It's been reported globally. People are marching in Norway against the Nigerian embassy there. People have taken over the whole of New York, chanting Buhari must go. The Nigerian consulate in London, it has not known peace, and of course the British would not stop them because they just accommodate protests so long as you don't disturb other people. So they've been weighing against that building and marching against that building for almost now 14 days solid. So the pressure now is mounting, and this thing has taken an international dimension. So it is no longer, and I've always said that the way to defeat this guy is to take the gun from him, make his gun impotent, then of course then he has nothing else, because this is a man that believes in force. Yamutu, Yamutu, Yamutu are the three mantras that has guided his life from birth till his 80-something years, 84, 85, however old he is. So he only understands force, and that force has served his life to the point that it has made him the president of Nigeria. So he has no other language apart from just AK-45. That is the only thing that I understand. So if you dull the bullets and turn those bullets into water, then he has nothing else. So he will go on his knees, and go on his knees he has done. And the way to turn that Yamutu Meidumbu attitude, the way to turn that Meidumbu thing that he does into dust, is to have this international dimension now that this thing has, because it is the international dimension that this thing has that is toning down the rhetorics that is coming from Aso Rock. Make no mistakes about that. If this thing was happening within the confines of Nigeria, he would have asked his boys to surround the whole of Lagos State, and anybody that looks younger than 50, he would tell them to just mow them down. This guy is known for that. We saw what happened to the Shiite movement that were protesting in Abuja. These people, they will protest and not even go on the main road. They will just protest in a single file, chanting saying Buhari must go, Buhari must go. And we all saw what happened to them. And why are they protesting? It is because 300 of them were raised down in Kaduna, and no justice has been served. Instead, their leader has been held hostage since pretty much the inception of the Buhari regime. So Yamutu is the only language that Buhari understands, but the pen is mightier than the sword, is what we are saying to him, because the chantings will still go on in London, the pressure will go on in New York, the Canadians are having their say, and Buhari is on his knees. Conversations in the comment section, he's now trying to roll it back, and he's throwing 75 billion at the boys. What says you? Come share thoughts. I'm sure boys will quickly go and collect that 75 billion, but then of course the pressure must, because this is the one window of opportunity that you will have, you know, because if this thing goes away, they will make sure that it doesn't happen again. Anybody that says even an untoward word towards the Buhari regime, they will just quietly go and either pick him up or lock him up, or just get rid of him completely. But if this season now peters out, the opportunity, and nothing impactful happens, then this guy will just ride you forever. Conversations in the comment section, they have dulled the Yamutu, but then of course, what is then the advantage that is going to, they say press the advantage, so how is now the advantage going to be pressed? Come share thoughts. But before you come share those thoughts, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all the clicking, so you click on subscribe, click on like, and click on the bell notification. So once you've done all that, come join me then in the comment section. Come tell me what you're making of this now conciliatory note that is echoing from Aso Rock. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace. Hope you enjoyed that. We're still sticking with the Endsars movement, the fallout of the protest. This is the theme of this entire video, by the way, because of course the only story within the Nigerian space at the moment is all Endsars related. So this time around, we're going to the northern regions of the country, and we're looking at their leader. They've congregated in Kaduna to take a position, and their position is for Malam Buhari to banish social media from the entirety of Nigeria. All of that is explained in this next video. So enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, the literal translation of Boko Haram is Western education is sacrilege. So Western education is sacrilege. As guys, I bring you this. Northern governors declare support for Buhari's administration's move to regulate social media. So social media is now also haram according to the Malamis. Of course, rather than fix up the things that people are agitating against, they are instead looking to move Nigeria back to the dark ages, as again, northern governors declare support for Buhari's administration's move to regulate social media. So now let's now see how this haram is being described. The move by the Buhari administration to regulate social media got a boost on Monday as governors and other leaders from the northern parts of Nigeria declared support for it. The administration has made regulating social media its priority, blaming the social media for the spread of fake news, which it says can destroy the country if left unchecked. Critics have said the government is simply trying to stifle critical and dissenting voices. A bill to regulate social media proposed by a lawmaker from the ruling party APC was rejected over a year ago in the parliament after opposition by a lot of Nigerians. The government has, however, insisted that it is determined to regulate social media and has been appealing to majority of Nigerians to support its move. On Monday, the Northern Governor Forum expressed support for the government's move, which it said was to check the spread of fake news in the country. The forum expressed its support in a communique issued by its chairman and governor of Plateau, Simon Lalong, after a meeting in Kaduna with traditional rulers and other stakeholders in the region. The meeting, which said it took note of the devastating effect of the uncontrolled social media in spreading fake news, called for major control mechanisms and censorship of social media practice in Nigeria. It also expressed support for the reform of the police to strengthen their capacity. Forum appreciates the major reforms going on in the police force and pledged to support Mr. President on this course. The meeting resolved to support the Nigerian police force to serve Nigeria better and calls for the strengthening of trust between the people and the police. The forum set up 2 committees to push for statutory roles for traditional rulers and engagement with youth and civil society organizations. The Committee on Roles of Traditional Rulers is headed by Emir of Lafia, Sidi Baji, with 2 representatives from the National Assembly and a minister as members. The Committee on Youth and Civil Society Organizations has Emir of Zauzau, Ahmed Bamali, as chairman. The forum has representatives of elders, youth, women, and persons with disability as members from each of the 3 zones. Other representatives are of Muslim and Christian clerics, business community, and the police. These committees are to commence work immediately, it said. It appreciated the roles traditional rulers played in containing the #Endsars protest in the region and collectively agreed that traditional rulers be given formal roles in the governance architecture of the country. The meeting rejected and condemned what it described as the subversive actions of some Endsars protesters and endorsed the indivisibility and oneness of the nation. It commended the National Assembly and the presidency for being proactive in addressing the issues of protest across the country. The governors also called for an amicable resolution of the ASU strike to enable students resume their studies. The forum agreed to hold the meeting regularly and expand it to involve other critical stakeholders such as religious leaders, business communities, and youth leaders. It appreciated the roles of religious groups, JNI, and CAN for their positive intervention in resolving the Endsars conflicts. The forum called for collective effort in addressing the lingering challenges of the region, such as the Almanjeri system, insecurity, illiteracy, and poverty. The forum also appreciated the youth in curtailing the spread of hooliganism, thuggery, and other separatist tendencies during the #Endsars protest for police reform. The meeting expressed concern over the low-level involvement of relevant stakeholders in the implementation programs of the government and calls on relevant agencies to review implementation strategies to make for maximum impact and benefit. The meeting was attended by the Senate President Ahmed Lawan and Chief of Staff to the President Ibrahim Gambari, amongst other dignitaries. So the Malamis collective, of course, but the thrust of it, the latter half was really just speaking to the blah 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 that they discussed. But the thrust of it, the main takeaway item of it, of course, is that these people are calling for the regulation of social media. So this is the real takeaway from this whole narrative. So they are calling for the regulation of social media, but what does that mean? So what that means is that you can no longer freely access Facebook on your on your computer or your phones or Twitter, etc. So effectively, they can have an on and off switch, putting pressure on all these providers within the Nigerian space to provide an on and off switch, so that in moments of tension, maybe during elections or whatever, they can just switch off our social media and send us back to the days of you remember those days when you used to have those phones in your house, when you used to use your finger to dial it and you spin it round and then it spins back around. The analog days, of course, a lot of people have already highlighted that Malam Buhari is an analog president, and of course now he's now taking you back to the days that he's most familiar with. So they are wanting to regulate social media, and you can translate that to mean that they are trying to stifle the voices of dissent, and the voices, of course, will dissent given the state that the country is in. So Facebook now, Twitter, etc., Instagram, all that you're snapping and posting, all that one will go, or they will tone it down so much that it will be a task. You might take a picture and it will take you 3 days to upload it. When you have to pass it through all of the security, you have to go and report your picture at the police station that I have taken this picture. Does it meet with Malam Buhari's approval, before they are able to let you post that picture on your Instagram feed? This is the sort of nonsense. I'm being, facetious, but really, it's not beyond the realms of our possibility, because of course the technology is beyond their realms of capacity. I mean, imagine Malam Buhari, for instance, and weigh him against a world of Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all of this cryptocurrency, etc. Where somebody like Malam Buhari against the language and the norms of the times that we live in now. This is a man completely at sea with all of these things. He doesn't understand it, because of course the only thing that he understands are things that he can point at and shoot. So he can't very well physically point and shoot at the internet as he's used to, but to point and shoot at the internet is to now bring in this regulation that allows them to switch it off at a moment's notice. Lai Mohammed, of course, is the person that is championing this, and a lot of resonance and echo from the northern parts, because of course that speaks to their language. Conversations in the comment section, social media is now haram, according to Malam Buhari, and this is where we're going. We're going back to the 80s, and we're going through the 80s to the 70s to the 60s, and then to days of yore. So we're going to the back of beyond, to the dark ages, as far as these people are concerned, because of course the world is not even moving past social media and internet to artificial intelligence. Now it's the language that people are speaking, and the Malam Buhari regime will have you go back from the internet back to the days of analog phones, and then back to the days when you have to put a man on a camel and send him from Borno to Nasarawa. Conversations in the comment section. Come share thoughts. But before you come share those thoughts, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all the clickings, come join me then in the comment section. Come tell me what you're making of this move by these northern governors wanting to shut down the internet effectively within the Nigerian space. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace. Hope you enjoyed that. So now, how to tackle the Endsars protest is what is agitating the mind of the Nigerian space at the moment, and they are going at it from several prongs. One of the angles that they are looking to is the traditional rulers of the key sectors of the Nigerian space. So all of those leaders, but you see that it's not really a full representation, but certainly leaders, traditional rulers of sectors within the Nigerian space were invited to Aso Rock to get a talking to so that they can go give their people a talking to. But there's a twist to the plot and there's an element missing. All of that is explained in this next video. So enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, the nail that sticks out will be hammered down. The head of the hammer, the base of the hammer, is very big, and the movement of the strokes that strikes is decisive. Guys, I bring you this. Buhari government will no longer tolerate threats to peace and unity. So this is now Buhari now taking an assertive position over the goings on in recent times within the Nigerian space, the Endsars demonstrations and all that. So again, the headline, Buhari, government will no longer tolerate threats to peace and security. So now let's now see how this is detailed. President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday said threats to peace will not be tolerated. He praised traditional rulers for their calming influence at the peak of the #Endsars protest, saying the issues raised by the protesters were being addressed. I want to once again thank you for the role you all have played to calm down our youths with wisdom and authority. By instilling hope and keeping the peace, you have rendered the country a great service. We cannot allow anybody or group to threaten the peace or sabotage these efforts, the president said. He spoke when he received a delegation of the National Council of Traditional Rulers led by the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Muhammadu Saudu Abubakar III, at the State House in Abuja. On the team include Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwese, Etse Nupe Alhaji Yahaya Abubakar, Emir of Kano Alhaji Aminu Adobayero, and Amayanado of Twambras King Alfred Deite Spiff. President Buhari told the royal fathers, "We have heard the loud cries of our youth and children, and we are addressing their concerns. Strong, transparent efforts are underway to address those rogue elements of the Nigerian police force. Simultaneously, the Nigerian police force will also undergo the much-needed reform that covers welfare, working conditions, and code of conduct that will usher in a more professional workforce." The president noted the challenges that come with our growing youth population. He said, "There is no hiding place regarding how we should address insecurity concerns, youth unemployment, job creation, boosting industrialization, and preparing for a transition into a digital economy." He stressed that the government required the support and voice of the traditional institution to help amplify the message. Your proximity to the people places you in a unique position to communicate and ensure that our response is targeted and impactful in view of your role as guardians of our traditional values and culture, President Buhari said. He urged the monarchs not to compromise their neutrality because this is what significantly confers on you your moral authority and legitimacy. According to President Buhari, his chief of staff, Ibrahim Gambari, would lead senior government officials to various parts of the country to directly engage with you as part of this process. On the C-19 pandemic, the president noted that economies have been crippled as the response to the pandemic has forced businesses to shut down or devise new means of transacting. His administration, he said, has designed various schemes and taken many measures to soften the impact despite our own revenue struggles as government. More needs to be done to cater to our fellow citizens, not just those in the urban areas, but also those in the rural areas. So this is now Malam Buhari putting the smack down on the Endsars protest effectively. So to be forewarned is to be forearmed, and you have been forewarned now, and this forewarning is coming from a military Fulani man who is known for ruthlessness. So Malam Buhari is telling you pointedly now that he is not going to facilitate any longer for any demonstration. So you have heard this, and you have also seen the what is called the Inspector General of Police traveling around all the states to address his men and to tell them that they're entitled to use their firearms in protection of themselves. And you can read between the lines on that. He told them that they can use their firearms to protect themselves. And of course, you know the interpretation that your average corporal from Oshodi, from Katsina, wherever, the average corporal, he is reading it as something different. So they are preparing for you now, and they are prepared, and the forewarning now is now being signaled to the Nigerian population via their traditional leaders, although the list of that traditional rulers that attended again shows the bias of this whole setup. Because if you go through the list of names again, which I'm just trying to bring up now. So we have the Sultan of Sokoto bin Delid, Mohamedu Saudu Abubakar, and then we have one representative for the whole of Yoruba land, the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitan Oguesi, and then you had the Etsu Nupe Alhaji Yahaya Abubakar, so one of their own again, and then you had the Emir of Kano in addition to that, Aminu Adobayero, so one of their own again. And this other one, I've never heard of him, the Amayanado of Twam Brass, King Alfred Dete Spiff. I like that name, Dete Spiff, but I've never heard of him before, but he does sound South to me. So no Igbo representation again from my reading, but if this King Alfred did say Spiff is an Igbo person, then please let me know in the comment section. But I'm pretty certain that it's not Igbo, because of course the last thing the detestable people, I think we are all agreed on that the thing that Malam Buhari detests the most, apart from his love he loves his own people as much as he detests the Igbo people, it will seem, from all of the body language and actions that we have seen from his regime so far. So of course no Igbo representation, which I'm sure the Igbos have come to expect. So this is now though a clear warning to the Nigerian population. Rally at your own peril, demonstrate at your own peril, protest at your own peril, and march at your own peril. Conversations in the comment section, commenting in the comment section though is not at your peril, and clicking on the subscribe button is not at your peril too. So please do that. Click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the algorithm. Once you've done all the clickings, come join me in the comment section. Come tell me what you're making of this positioning that Malam Buhari has taken. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace. Hope you enjoyed that. So we're still sticking with the theme of the Endsars protest. This time around, we're actually still staying in Kaduna State, but we're staying with the governor this time around. Malam El Rufai, of course, a corny little man, short man devil and all that, is making truth of that expression, a sly little fox that he is. He is now echoing the language of restructuring. You recall that he led a panel to present a paper to his daddy, Malam Buhari, about 2-3 years ago. So he is now echoing again that language of restructuring. You recall that was the same language that brought Buhari into power until he then got that power and jettisoned the whole idea. So the drumbeat of 2023 is what I am reading to the Malam El Rufai suddenly trying to resurrect the restructuring debate, and all of that is explained in this next video. So enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, anytime that this guy speaks in the public space, I always view it with suspicion and then view it with disregard, because any commentary that this guy does make in the public space, or any actions that it takes within the public space, is geared towards one thing and one thing alone, and that is the 2023 presidency. Guys, I bring you this: time to restructure Nigeria. We have no excuses. Headline attributed to the little man from Kaduna State, El Rufai. So this is El Rufai now speaking. This thing that they used to bamboozle us, they've been talking about restructuring pretty much since I was able to recognize words, but that has never happened. And the reason why it has never happened, of course, is people like El Rufai and his clansmen. You recall that the trumpet that one of the tunes that Buhari blew on his trumpet in the build-up to 2015 was restructure, to the point that it was a manifesto item in what he presented to the Nigerian nation as his mission statement in the build-up to 2015. But as soon as this guy got hold of power, when they were asking him about restructuring, I'm talking about Buhari now, when they were asking him about restructuring, he says that will be consigned to the annals or of history, into the archives. He will be put in the archives to gather the dust. That is the paper that the white paper that had been presented on restructure. So now this guy, of course, now ambitions towards 2023, and he's now beating that same drum beat that Malam Buhari beat prior to 2015, as again, time to restructure Nigeria. We have no excuse. Headline attributed to El Rufai. So now let's now see what the little man from Kaduna State has to say for himself. Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El Rufai, has declared that it is about time to make moves to restructure Nigeria in order to ensure equitable distribution of resources across the nation. Governor El Rufai, who made the declaration on Saturday whilst speaking at a public lecture to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Arewa House in Kaduna State, added that there was a need to recognize the country's constitutional framework in order to give states more control over certain resources. According to him, it will empower state governments to cease passing the buck to the president and the federal government. I, therefore, call on our federal legislators and the National Assembly Ad Hoc Committee on Constitutional Review to take advantage of our report and initiate the constitutional and legislative amendments in either a piecemeal or comprehensive manner without further delay. We therefore have no excuse not to seize this moment and do the heavy lifting for our country and our people. It is in our hands to make the structures, laws, and constitutional arrangements in our country conducive to modern governance that will ensure our nation thrives in the 21st century, El Rufai said. So worthy aspirations and lofty words, but of course it's all boju. You see, the allure of the Nigerian presidency is several-fold, but at the forefront of that allure is the power and money. So the power that the Nigerian president wields is more than the power that any other president wields in any nation on the planet. The Nigerian president has power over virtually everything within the Nigerian state, and this is why a lot of people fight so hard for that space. And it is that power that they have that is the attraction. So nobody is then going to then end up with that power and seek to whittle it down. That will never happen. But to get that power, of course, the promise of making that happen is dangled in front of people like a beacon to attract them to the light. So this is what this guy is doing, the tried and trusted route. This restructuring, of course, is the only thing that can really save that country as a nation before it completely implodes. And Nigeria is at the precipice of implosion. We all know that. But to restructure that country now is a task that nobody is willing to take on, and nobody really wants to take on. And when El Rufai does get that presidency, because you have to think that El Rufai is even more emboldened on his chances of getting that presidency now, especially when Tinubu has now been disgraced in Lagos State over the last week, 2-3 weeks or so, with the Endsars protest and everything. So Tinubu's power has been completely whittled. His man Oshiomhole has been removed as the chairperson of the National Party. They are having meetings and he's not been invited as Tinubu, even though he's the leader of the party. The new now chairman of the party, Fulade Man, has now said that the party has not made a decision if they are going to transit the power to the south or north. So that is already opening that door. So now he is now seizing all of these opportunities now to say, I am still here and I am willing to fly the banner for my people. His people, of course, being the Fulanis. So this is what he's talking about. So he, of course, did some white paper that he made some recommendations. And at the heart of everything in Nigeria, by the way, he did make mention. So I'll just address a little bit as well. At the heart of everything that is wrong with Nigeria is resource control and security. These are the two things really that afflicts and restricts and holds that country back. Resource control and security. So what are we talking about? Resource control and security. So the resources that is found under the ground or in any space within the Nigerian space automatically belongs to the federal government. It's part of the national coffers. This is what the law says in Nigeria, and they call it the exclusive list. They call it the federal exclusive list. So the waterways in Nigeria belongs to the federal exclusive list. The federal roads in Nigeria belongs to the federal exclusive list. The security of the country belongs to the federal exclusive list. And more importantly, all the resources found under the ground in Nigeria belongs to the federal exclusive list. So the gold in Elisha belongs to the federal exclusive list. The gold in Zamfara is also meant to belong to the federal exclusive list. But of course, the Zamfara state government have said, don't be silly, we are Fulanis, we'll keep it for ourselves. So they are keeping it for themselves. But the oil in the Niger Delta, more importantly, belongs to the federal exclusive list. So all of those resources belong to the federal exclusive list. And a lot of resources also that are found in so many bitumen, coal, etc. The list of resources that is under the grounds of the Nigerian space is endless, and all of them belong to the federal exclusive list. So no state then, Ajaokuta for instance, the steel in Ajaokuta, it belongs to the federal exclusive list. So I think you get to the point. So no state then can then seek to develop whatever resources that is found under their grounds, because they belong to the national coffers, and the national coffers is not yet looking to move to take advantage of those resources. So there are boundless, countless resources under the Nigerian space, within the Nigerian space, all sitting on the federal exclusive list, with the federal government not doing anything with it and the state government not allowed to do anything with it, and then you see the people wallowing in abject poverty in a country, in a land of plenty. So this is the situation, and that is the federal exclusive list. And the second mention, of course, was security. So I don't really need to expand too much on that, because I think you all already understand what that means. The security of the region is too complex and is too immediate to localities to be handled centrally. So you have one Inspector General of Police giving orders to Lagos State, Kaduna State, Zamfara State, Sokoto State, etc., etc., places that some of these places he has never been to in his life, and he will never be there in his life, and he doesn't even know who is in charge. If he just needs to make contact, then they start to find out who is in charge of that state self. But that state now, it cannot by itself make provisions for its own security that meets the need of the locality. So we take Lagos State as an example, or even take any state within the southern regions especially. So you have a man from Borno being a policeman in Lagos State. How is he able to police Lagos State is what I am asking you. A man from Sokoto, a man from Kebbi policing Lagos State. How is he able to police Lagos State? He is in a foreign land as far as he is concerned, and the people in that land see him as a foreigner. He thinks he's in a hostile environment, and the people of that environment see him as an invader. So there's absolutely no security that is going to take place. All he is going to do is to try and exploit that place as much as he can until he's able to just go back to his own home state after he has made enough money. And this is what we see playing out on the streets of Lagos, Onitsha, etc. Every single day. So the policing of the states has to be localized, and we saw again with the Endsars protest, to the point that Sanwo-Olu suddenly saw that he had no real power for security, that he had to call the army, and then of course we know what transpired after that. So this is the situation. But if Sanwo-Olu, of course, had his own state police, he would have called out those state police and given them direct instructions. Say, okay, go and use water cannon to disperse them, but I don't want any, I don't even want anybody injured. I don't even want anybody to chip their toenail. Just send them home quietly but forcefully, and let them be on their way. Just disperse them. But if you bring in soldiers from Borno to come and address protesters in Lagos, then of course what happened is always what is going to happen. So that exclusivity of security that is held on the federal exclusive list is one of the key components that continues to hold that country back, because security cannot be held by Buhari. But then of course he would never let security go, because he placed all of his faith on force, and that force of course means that he has to hold all of the security apparatus of the state in his hands to launch them at people that he sees opposed to him, as we saw again played out in Lagos when they sent in like a Fulani-based battalion to go and address young Igbo and Yoruba protesters on the streets of Lagos State. So we saw what happened there, and this is really where the problem is. But Malam El Rufai, of course, they are beating the drum beats of restructuring, thinking that people will say, oh, he can speak English at least, and he has a bit of an education, and he's not some primitive knucklehead like Malam Buhari, so let's give him a chance. But that is never going to happen, of course, because the one thing that is still holding steady is the hope that in 2023 power will transit back to the southern regions. So if power does not then transit back to the southern regions in 2023, then the southerners would then know, proof positive without any equivocation, that they are a conquered people, that these Fulanis consider them to be a conquered people. So if they now have that understanding that they're a conquered people, then they have to then strategize from there. So they have to make the decision then if they are happy to continue to be a conquered people, or if they want to make moves to liberate themselves. So these are all of the permutations that will be coming into play in 2023. But Malam El Rufai, of course, placed his hand using that old trick of restructuring. Conversations in the comment section. The little man from Kaduna State is up to his mischief again. What says you? Come share thoughts. But before you come share those thoughts, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all the clickings, come join me then in the comment section. Our little man from Kaduna State is what we are discussing. What says you? So I'll leave you here. Join you in the comment section, but here I say peace. Hope you enjoyed that. So those are the 5 videos for this week. I hope you enjoyed the selection. Come into the comment section. Come tell me what you have made of the week that was, and especially what you have made of the week as has been captured on this channel. So a mixed bag, a potpourri, a mixture of all sorts, the spice and the ginger all in there. So come tell me now in the comment section how the week has been for you in the Nigerian political space. But before you come engage in that conversation with me, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all the clickings, come tell me then either from this selection or whatever your thoughts are about the Nigerian space in the news in the week. Come, let's have a conversation about all that in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace.